What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm CJ. This is Out of Bounds, and I've been a very busy man today. This is my third video, so I'm going to try and keep the energy up and help you guys figure out who we're playing on PrizePicks tonight. This is another NBA PrizePicks board breakdown for January 15th. It's 3:15 p.m. here on the East Coast. Let's get right into the news and start knocking out some names. Jason Tatum, he is projected to be out today against the Orlando Magic. Big news there. Jaylen Brown, questionable due to COVID protocol. He's going to be possibly out in this one. Zion Williams, probable due to COVID protocol. He's been cleared to play for Friday. Kevin Love is still out. He's out indefinitely, dealing with a calf injury. Andre Drummond, probable Achilles. He's likely to play. Ja Morant, guy we haven't really seen a whole lot of this season. He's questionable with an ankle. This is his first chance to return today, so that'd be interesting if we got Ja back. Lonzo Ball, out with a knee. LeBron James, questionable with an ankle due to left ankle sprain, but we've seen him on the injury report in the last few videos that I've done. He seems to be playing through it. So Anthony Davis, probable with a back. He's going to be playing tonight. Tristan Thompson, probable due to COVID protocol, on track to return. And, I'll probably draw the line there, but you get the gist of kind of what's going on with injuries and stuff. Today, guys, we introduce a new set of projection tools. I'm going to try and start incorporating these into the videos. TeamRiseOrFall.com is a daily fantasy sports, I guess we'll call it like a toolkit, coaching, cheat sheets, projections, articles, a little bit of everything on TeamRiseOrFall.com, but we're going to be using their NBA projections today, and hopefully we can get them in the video more often. So we'll be bouncing between them and Roto Grinders. Let's get right into it. Nikola Vucevic, 43 points is his projection tonight. We'll start with Roto Grinders and see where they like Mr. Vooch. They've got him projected at 46.81, so that's a nice over for Vooch. We head on over to Rise or Fall. Looking for Vooch here. All right. A little harder to find him on here. 42.93 is his projection there. So one of the sites likes him under. One of the sites likes him over. Bear with me on this Rise or Fall, guys. It's a little harder to use for me. His last few games, though, 47 points. 57 points, so two big overs based on tonight's projection. We got 43.9 here, 34.4, 50, 47. So you get the gist. Nikola Vucevic is the man. He's been the man this season. This is his first matchup against Boston. So really no other game to look at against Boston prior to this one. But if we look here, the Magic are projected to score 105.25 points. Vooch being a versatile big man, Boston does pretty good against versatile bigs. They rank 9th in the league, so not the easiest matchup, but he is putting up a very impressive 1.41 fantasy points per minute. And if we look at the game totals here, Boston's just a 2.5 point favorite, 107.75 versus Orlando, 105.25. So the game's projected to stay close, and if that's the case, I like Vooch to really do work. I think he can eat here. No problem whatsoever. So I don't mind taking the over on Vooch. The other side of the ball, we talked a little bit about Jason Tatum being out and Jaylen Brown being questionable. We're going to talk Marcus Smart real quick. Not a guy that we've mentioned a whole lot on the channel. He's projected for 34 points tonight. So let's head over to Roto Grinders and take a look at where they like Smart. They got him at 32.62. Let's go over to Rise or Fall. Maybe if I filter here, that'll help us out a little bit. Rise or Fall, they've got him at 31.85. So two slight unders on Marcus Smart. Opening up the game logs real quick. 29, 25. Missed that game there against Toronto. Then you got 36, 35, 32, 31. So he's got 35 point type of projection there. I mean, he can do 30 to 35, no problem. Across the board here, Boston projected to score 107.75 points. He's a combo guard, and the Magic do a pretty good job against combo guards, ranking 8th 8th against combo guards, and he's averaging 0.90 fantasy points per minute. So both sites like the slight under on Smart. They think the 34 that PrizePicks has him at might just be a little too high. So do with that what you will. Let's talk real quick about Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown projected for 45 points tonight. Big number for Jaylen Brown. Probably the biggest projection I've ever seen for Jaylen Brown. But let's see if he can get there. We'll go over to Roto Grinders. We will filter out all positions except for small forward. Of course, Brown is questionable, so definitely make sure that he's going to be playing before you click an over and under. You don't want to get a DNP. That's kind of annoying when you put in like a solid, strong 5-pick play or something like that, and then one of the guys ends up being a DNP. Then it reverts to a 4-pick play on PrizePicks. You know how it works. Anyway, Roto Grinders has Jaylen Brown at 44.98. Let's round it up to 45. And then over on Rise or Fall, they've got it at 44.88. Let's call it 45. So they're kind of like on the money, they being PrizePicks, with the Jaylen Brown projection of 45 tonight. Let's go down the list here. A couple of his last games: 51.1, 53.9. So two huge overs there. Big games for Brown. And then 28.5 and 30 in his 2 games prior to that one. As we mentioned, first matchup against Orlando. These teams have not met yet, but let's go across the board real quick. Boston, we talked about, 107.75 is their projected total as a team. He's a scoring wing, is Jaylen Brown, and Orlando ranks 9th against scoring wings. Tough matchup there. And he's averaging 1.25 fantasy points per minute. So Jaylen Brown is slated to be the man tonight without Jason Tatum in the lineup. You could see his usage spike, and we've seen his last 2 games. He's got 50-plus point ability. So there you have it for Mr. Jaylen Brown. Let's go to the next game, which features the New York Knicks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. That game tips off at 7:40 p.m. We haven't talked about Mr. Drummond in a while. Mr. Drummond be Drummond. Let's see if he's going to be Drummond tonight. Why don't we? Let's filter out all positions. Just looking at center here, Andre Drummond projected for just over 44 points over on Roto Grinders. If we go to Rise or Fall here, they've got Andre Drummond as a big over, 47.28. So one site has him slightly over, and another site has him quite a bit over. Let's look at his game logs, though. 45.3, that would put him over tonight's projection. 59.3, that's a huge over. 44.5, that's a big over too. And he's got a couple where he's down in the 30s, so that would not put him over tonight's projection. This matchup against the Knicks, he has faced them once prior to this one. 33.47 minutes played in that game. He put up a whopping, massive 64.4 fantasy points in that game against the Knicks. So things are looking kind of good here for an Andre Drummond over his projection of 44 points. But here's something that's a little concerning. Cleveland, they're only expected to score 97.5 points as a team. By far the lowest team total on the board. But post bigs against the Knicks have done really well. The Knicks ranked just 22 in the league against post big men. And Andre Drummond, as we know from previous videos, puts up a whopping 1.46 fantasy points per minute. So you got to love that. But looking at this this game total here, I mean, it is a 2-point spread, so you love that. So if Andre Drummond is a guy that you're feeling like taking the over on tonight, I mean, the game's projected to stay close. This just doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot of points put up by either team. So you don't often see 2 teams projected to score under 100 points. So keep an eye on that. Let's move over to the New York Knicks side of the ball. We'll back up just a spot here and talk Julius Randle, 45.5. Randle's having a fantastic season. I saw something the other day where his per game averages were actually higher than Anthony Davis. So kind of impressive. And I didn't realize he was having that great of a season, but that was an eye opener for me. Let's take a look at how Julius Randle has fared in his last few games here. Well, projections first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. 48 is his projection tonight against Cleveland. Big over there. Heading over to Rise or Fall, we filter out all the other positions. We're just looking at power forwards. Julius Randle, we'll round that up to 44 for Randle. So that would be an under. a sizable under there for Randall. Now let's look at his game logs. 49.9, that put him over tonight's projection. 23.5, that was a big disappointment. Game prior to that, he put up 45.5 points. And he got 43.9, 54.7, 57.9. So the dude can climb up to that 50-point, 55-point window any given night. They did face Cleveland earlier. Sorry, I should have looked at that. And in that matchup, he put up 52.9. So not only did Andre Drummond have a monster game the last time these two met, but so did Julius Randle. Both of them had big games. So, I mean, look, it took him 44 minutes to put up the 52.9 points, but man, he got there, right? And that's all we really care about, is if we're taking the over, is he going to get there or not? So let's look across the board real quick on Randle. We mentioned it before, the Knicks are not expected to score a whole lot of points, only 99.5. He's a versatile big man, and the Cleveland Cavaliers have not done well this season against versatile bigs, ranking just 21st in the league against that type of player. If we look at his fantasy points per minute, 1.19, that's a very healthy number for Randle. So there you have it, guys. One site, they like the under. One site, they like the over. If it's up to me, that 45.5 is a tough number. I would probably lean maybe like a slight over on Julius Randle. That's how I'm feeling about it. But you let me know. Drop a comment below. Do you disagree with that? I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. We know that. Moving on to the next game, though, we've got the Dallas Mavericks versus the Milwaukee Bucks. This game tips off at 7:40 p.m., featuring a couple of downright dirty studs here. Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo. It is going to be a hell of a matchup. I'm looking forward to this one. Let's talk about Luka first, though. He's projected for 54 PrizePicks points tonight, filtering out all positions. We look at Luka on Roto Grinders. They've got him at 51.79. You know, that's close enough for me to call it 52. So that's still an under, even if I round up on Luka. Let's look at Rise or Fall. They've got Luka at 51, so both sites like Luka going under tonight. Maybe PrizePicks is a little too high on Luka Doncic. Let's look at his recent game logs, though. 77.1, holy smokes. 51.2 here, and then a big 78.3, 60.7. Even if we go back a couple more games, 53.5. So, guy's been crushing it. Let's just look at the last 4 games here. If we knock out this 51.2, I mean 77, 78, 60. So Kristaps Porzingis is back for Dallas, and maybe that's helping Luka out a little bit. This will be his first time facing off against Giannis and the Bucks. No previous game logs to reference here. Let's look across the board. Dallas projected for 110.25 points as a team. He's a combo guard, is Doncic, and looks like Milwaukee's done a pretty good job against combo guards, ranking 5th in the league, but he's putting up 1.58 fantasy points per minute. It doesn't get much better than that. Now, looking at the game totals, Milwaukee is a 7.5-point favorite at home, projected to score 117.75 points. That scares me a little bit. I'll be honest with you. Anytime like a spread is like over 5 points, I start to kind of get a weird feeling about it. But here's a situation where you could take a first half over perhaps on Luka Doncic, where you don't have to really worry about him playing a full, 36 minutes like he's projected to play tonight. Maybe you just take the first half over on Luka and hope that he gets there. I don't mind that play. We don't have to go full game. We can go first half if they offer it. Enough about him, though. Let's go Giannis Antetokounmpo next. We've already hinted at him. 54. 54 is his projection tonight. Does he get over the hump? Well, as of right now, it looks like Roto Grinders doesn't think so. They've got him as a big under at just 50 points there. Let's head over to Rise or Fall real quick and see what their projections look like. 52 for Giannis there. So both sites have the under on Giannis Antetokounmpo. Not looking good if you're trying to take the over. If you're taking the under, though, looking pretty good. His last game, 59 points. Then he had a 40. Then he missed that one against Cleveland. Then 51.6, 38, 59, 65, 64. So there's some games in there, guys, mixed in where Giannis isn't, reaching 50 or more points. there's some duds, some letdown games in there. As we talked about, first matchup against Dallas, so nothing else to look at there. Team total, though, looking very, very impressive for the Milwaukee Bucks. 117.75 is their projected team total. He's a versatile forward. Dallas doesn't do a good job against versatile forwards, ranking just 22nd in the league. And then finally, 1.62 fantasy points per minute. It's no secret Giannis can put up fantasy points in a hurry for you. He's only projected to play 32 minutes tonight, though, guys. So this is another situation, as is with Doncic, where maybe you take these studs and you take them just first half overs only. If you think they can get it done in a half, I don't mind that play. But this game, being that it's a 7-point spread, makes me a little cautious. Got to be real with you. Got to be real. Let's move on to the next game, though. We've got the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. We've got Jonas Valanciunas, a guy whose name that pops up quite a bit in the Discord. By the way, link to the Discord is in the description of this video. Join the Discord. It's free for you to join. We don't charge you anything for that. We talk prize picks every single day, every single night, not just NBA. We talk NFL. We talk college basketball, college football. Shoot, we even talk CSGO. So if you're into esports, hey, we do that too. We got an eclectic group of PrizePicks players. And in my humble opinion, the best group of PrizePicks players in any Discord in all the world. So join the Discord. It's free to do. Onward we go. Jonas Valanciunas, 37 is his projection tonight. Let's take a look and see where they like him on the two sites we're referencing today. 35.8, so that would be a slight under for Valanciunas if we rounded it up to 36. Let's take a look at Rise or Fall and see how their projections are lining up. 35.2. So he's in that 35 to 36 point range. Crack and open some game logs on Jonas. He had a 49.7 outing in his last game against Minnesota. So this is a rematch against Minnesota. If you think that he crushes again, well, then take the over on Jonas. 49.2 is looking pretty, or 49.7 is looking pretty healthy, though. 24.9, 20.8 in the two games prior to that one. And he bounced back up to 40 here. So, you know, most nights this guy's not going to do 49.7 points or even 40 fantasy points. I think those are ceiling games for Jonas. So you got to keep that in mind. Am I saying his name wrong, by the way? Jonas? Where am I coming up? Jonas? Is he a Jonas brother? I don't know. Jonas. Jonas. Joe Jonas? No, I didn't say Joe Jonas. Anyway, this guy's projected to play 28 minutes tonight. Memphis, they're projected for 111.5 points as a team. He's a post big man. Post big man versus Minnesota. Haven't done so well, but you know, that kind of goes against what we just saw in his last game against Minnesota. He's a post big man and he did really well. So maybe we don't care about that ranking of 10th for Minnesota against post bigs. But Valanciunas puts up 1.24 fantasy points per minute. Now let's look at this game real quick and see the totals. It's looking like it's going to stay close. It's only a 1.5 point spread. Minnesota is a slight favorite at home, 113 to 111.5. So there you have it on big Joe Val. Jonas. I don't know why I was calling him Jonas. I don't think I've ever called him that before. Anyway, he'll be matching up against Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns, welcome to Out of Bounds. Welcome to our Prize Picks breakdown show. I think this is the first time we're going to cover Cat all season long, so it's cool to get some fresh faces in here. He's projected for 53 points tonight. If we look at his projection over on Rise or Fall, they've got him at 47.62. So one site pretty under on Karl Anthony Towns, and another site likes the over on Karl Anthony Towns at 51 on PrizePicks. But let's look at the game logs. I don't think there's much in here for us to look at. Well, he played the last game here against Memphis and put up 51.3. If we go back to January 9th, 52.6. And then earlier to start the season, 50.7 and 47.9. So the dude can ball, right? He's around that 50 to 52 point window in the games that he has played, which haven't been many, but we got to go off of what we got. So he's projected to play 34 minutes tonight. The team total for Minnesota is 113 points. He's a versatile big man, and versatile bigs versus the Memphis Grizzlies have done well. They only rank 25th against versatile bigs, so not afraid of the matchup here for Cat. And then finally, fantasy points per minute, 1.54, which is the highest fantasy points per minute average for any center on tonight's slate. So big things there for Karl Anthony Towns. It is so good to have the big cat back. Let's move along here. Do we want to talk anyone else from this game? I really don't want to, but if there's anybody that I'm skipping over that you guys are interested in, shoot me a message in Discord. If I'm available, I don't mind digging a little deeper beyond what we do here on the video. I look at Discord as an extension of what we do here on the YouTube show, so definitely hit me up. Let's talk Zach LaVine, though, the high-flying swingman for the Chicago Bulls. He's facing the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight. That game tips off at 8:10 p.m. 41 is the projection for Zach LaVine. Let's take a look here. I think they've got him at shooting guard over on FanDuel. Yep. By the way, we use FanDuel projections when we do these videos because they are the most accurate. They're exactly the same as PrizePicks. So in case you didn't know that, that's why we use FanDuel. So 42.19 is his projection over on Roto Grinders. Let's take a look at where they have him on Rise or Fall, 41.74. So let's round that up to 42. So both sites right there at 42 on Zach LaVine. Looking at his last couple of games, though, some real big totals here. 58.9 and then 59. So you might as well say 59 in back-to-back games. Huge totals for Zach LaVine. 41.9 3 games ago, 38.3, 58.7. So it gets a little shaky in here, but his last 2 games, pretty impressive. Really, his last 3, he's went over tonight's projection of 41 points on PrizePicks. Looking at this matchup, though, this is the first time that he's going to be facing the Oklahoma City Thunder. So let's go through across the board here. He's projected to play 37 minutes. The Bulls are projected to score 112 points as a team. He's a scoring wing. Scoring wings against Oklahoma City have done okay. This is like a middle-of-the-road average type of matchup, so not a positive or a negative matchup for LaVine. So we're okay with that. 1.21 fantasy points per minute for Zach LaVine. Let's look and see what the game spread and totals are looking like here. Oklahoma City, 112.5 versus Chicago, 112. So this game should stay tight. It should stay close throughout. So if Zach LaVine plays 37 plus minutes like he's projected to, I don't see why he can't go over 41. I kind of like the 41 on Zach LaVine. Flipping over to the Oklahoma City side of the ball, we've got SGA, a guy who has had some big games, but has also disappointed and let us down in some games recently too. So let's check out SGA and see how he's looking in tonight's projections. 41.49. And we head over to Rise or Fall. They've got him at 40. Okay, so 40, 41. Let's open up his game logs and see what those look like. 18.9 in his last one. That was against the Lakers. 31.8 against the Spurs. So those were the 2 down games that I was talking about, where he's kind of like disappointed people who are taking the over on him. But it's hard not to like the over on this guy because he's got 55, 47, 53 point potential. But maybe we ought to consider these games more closer to his ceiling rather than his floor. His floor is probably closer to what we're seeing in some of these other game logs from earlier this season, where he's been around that 35 to 40 point zone. This is his first matchup against Chicago. Like I said, these 2 teams have yet to face each other. But he's projected for 35 minutes tonight. And we've already talked about his projection of 41.49. Oklahoma City, they're projected to score 112.5 points in this matchup for a combo guard like SGA. Not the easiest one on paper. They rank 13th due to the Chicago Bulls against combo guards. And then SGA's averaging 1.13 fantasy points per minute. So the game's expected to stay close. Both teams are expected to score a healthy amount of points. So could this be a bounce back situation for SGA? I will let you guys decide on taking the over or under on this one. But, you know, it's shaping up pretty good for, I guess, both him and LaVine to go over their projections. But You tell me what you're feeling on that one. We're going to skip over the next few guys from that game and head to the next game, which features Mr. Ice Trae Young. Looks like PrizePicks is finally starting to catch up to Trae Young and what he's done this season. And, you know, earlier in the season, guys, they had him at like 45, 46 points, night in, night out. And I kept clicking the under, and I kept clicking the under, and it kept working out for me most nights. Tonight he faces Utah at 9:10 p.m. Trae Young versus the Utah Jazz. So let's take a look at his projections. They like the slight under here at 39.61 over on Roto Grinders. If we take a look at Rise or Fall, filter out, they got him at 42.19. So you've got a slight under on Trae, and then you've got a pretty healthy over on Trae. Let's look at his game logs. Maybe it will tell a different tale. 44.6 against Philadelphia in his last game, then 28.4, 13.5. You got a 49.4 here against the Knicks, 32, 40, 48. So you can kind of get an idea. He hasn't been a model of consistency for the most part this season, and I think his projections across these sites are starting to try and like reflect that, you know, there's some volatility here when you play Trae Young, whether it be FanDuel, DraftKings, or PrizePicks. It's kind of hard to project what the kid's going to do. No previous game log against the Utah Jazz. The Hawks are projected to score 110.25 points as a team. He's a combo guard, and Utah very, very stingy against combo guards. They rank first in the league against combo guards, so not the easiest matchup on paper for Trae Young. He's putting up 1.21 fantasy points per minute, though, so a pretty decent total or decent average, I should say, as far as his fantasy points per minute. So there you go. Trae Young, 40 points. I don't know. This may be one of those situations where you just avoid it. You fade him. You don't even try to figure out the over or the under on the guy. Let's go to someone we don't talk a lot about, and that would be Mr. Donovan Mitchell. He's projected for 37 points tonight. Buzzing through real quick on Donovan Mitchell. We're reaching the end of the video. Thank you for hanging around. 37.93 is his projection tonight over on Roto Grinders. On Rise or Fall, they've got Donovan Mitchell at 36.13. So these two sites, a little torn on the projection, still in that 36 to 38 point range. In his last game, 35.6, 33.9, 50.5, big game there. Then we're back down to 27.8, 38, 36. So you kind of get the idea. Most nights, this guy's going to be between 30 and 36 or 37 points. So PrizePicks, I got to give it to you guys. You guys have done really well as of late, making our lives hella difficult when trying to decide if we're taking overs or unders on a lot of these guys. So I love you, but I hate you all at the same time. So that 37 for Donovan Mitchell, I mean, man, Utah's projected to score 116.25 points. He's a combo guard. Combo guards against Atlanta, not a tough matchup here. They rank 20th against combo guards. And Mitchell's putting up just over that gold standard that we like to see of 1 fantasy point per minute. So there you go on Donovan Mitchell. Another situation where projections are just too good. They're just too good. I don't know, man. These are like a lot of coin flip situations lately. Let's head over to the next game, though. New Orleans Pelicans versus the Los Angeles Lakers. We got a big matchup here, right? We've got kind of like the future and Zion Williamson versus the present, but also the past. He's been dominating the league for quite a while now. King James. So let's take a look first at Zion. He's projected at 37. We talked about it in recent videos that to start the season, they had, not LeBron James, they had Zion Williamson up there in like the 40 to 45 point area. He just wasn't getting it. He just wasn't getting there. He wasn't getting it done. So he's projected at 37.34 over on Roto Grinders tonight. Over on Rise or Fall, they've got Zion Williamson at 34.25. So they like the big under there on Z. Opening up the game logs. He's doing better, guys. He is doing better as of late. 37.1 would put him 0.1 points over tonight's projection. So that's all we need, right? Is 0.1 points. 44.7 in the one before that. And the one prior to that was 42. And this is going to be his first matchup against the Lakers, so no previous game logs to look at there, but you get an idea of how Zion's playing lately, getting 35 minutes, 32 minutes, 33 minutes. So he's in that 32 to 35 minute window. And on Roto Grinders, they've got him projected to play 34 minutes tonight. New Orleans, they're projected to score 105 points as a team. He's a versatile forward. Versatile forwards versus the Lakers. Well, they don't do so hot on paper. Lakers ranking 4th against versatile forwards. And finally, fantasy points per minute for Zion Williamson, 1.14. So not too bad there. We've already mentioned him. Let's talk about him. King James, LeBron James, projected for 48 points. He's been dealing with an ankle issue, and it seems like lately taking the under on LeBron James has been the way to go for the most part. He had a little stretch there, a little run of games where he was putting up some pretty nice numbers, but then kind of came crashing back down to earth. So maybe there's something to this ankle injury. Maybe the ankle injury is bothering him a little bit more than we know. But let's look here. 46.14 over on Roto Grinders. If we click over to Rise or Fall, they've got him at 44.94, rounded up to 45. So a 46 and a 45 on King James. Game log time. 41.7. 41.1, 40.9, 42.9. So look at this. In his last 4 games, he's went under his projection of 48 tonight. Got to ask yourself, will this slide, this streak of underperforming games for LeBron James continue? Or will it come to an end tonight against New Orleans? We don't have any previous game logs to look at. LeBron versus New Orleans. This is his first matchup here. So, I mean, he could snap it. If you go back 5 games ago, 48.2, he was just barely over tonight's projection. And then 3 games prior to that, I mean, 50, 50, 56, 48, 54. But he's been down. His numbers have been down, guys, straight up. I mean, so is his minutes, though. 27, 29, 30. So right now, if gun to my head kind of situation, I'm taking the under on LeBron. They have him projected for 33 minutes tonight. Lakers are projected to score 115 points as a team. He's a versatile forward. Versatile forwards versus the New Orleans Pelicans. Not a hard matchup here. They only rank 21st to the Pelicans against versatile forwards such as LeBron James. And we know he can put up points, guys. 1.41 fantasy points per minute. If we look at the game totals here, LA, 115 points. New Orleans, 105 points. 48 is too much, man. It's too much for LeBron James, especially when there's a 10-point spread on the board in this game. I got to take the under, man. I got to take the under. And you know what? I didn't do a lock, I don't think, in my last video, but I think I'm going to take the under on LeBron James as my lock of the night. I really like it. I don't think he gets to 48 points. He hasn't done it in a few games now. This game's going to be a blowout. He won't play deep into this game. He's obviously dealing with an ankle injury. Under on LeBron James, lock of the night. You heard it here first. We got 2 more guys to talk about, and then we'll wrap this one up. Kawhi Leonard, 47. I think that projection is starting to creep up for Kawhi Leonard. I think he's been like a 44-ish type of guy most nights, but let's look here. Roto Grinders has him at 48. Rise or Fall has him at 47.67. So let's call that 48 too. So both sides around 48 on Kawhi. His last few games, 52, 50. Then you got 37, 30, 57. So kind of give you an idea. He's got the 50-plus point upside on any given night, right? Does he have any previous game logs against Sacramento? Does not look like it. So first time facing off against the Kings. And let's go across the board on Kawhi Leonard. He's projected to play 35 minutes tonight. We've already talked about his projection of 48. And then Clippers as a team, 117.25 points as a squad. He's a versatile forward, and versatile forwards against the Kings have not fared well this season on paper. Kings ranking 10th against versatile forwards, but we know Kawhi Leonard's a beast. He averages 1.32 fantasy points per minute. And finally, let's look at the game totals here. Los Angeles Clippers 117.25. They are 7-point favorites on the road against the Sacramento Kings, who are projected to score 110.25. So blowout potential. Anytime there's like, over 5, I start to kind of play it out in my head. I'm like, can this game get out of hand? Might we see Kawhi Leonard just, fall short of his projection of 35 minutes tonight? I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance this blows out. Why not? If it does, take the under on Kawhi. Or if you like the over, take maybe a first half over on Kawhi. That might be the way to go. And last but not least, De'Aaron Fox, point guard for the Sacramento Kings. We've already mentioned he's taking on the Clippers tonight. He's going to be the last guy we talk about here, and then I'll let you go. He's projected for 37.05 points, so they're right on the money on Roto Grinders on Mr. Fox. And then over on Rise or Fall, they've got him at 38.64 points. Let's open the game logs up on Fox and see how those are looking. 46.2 in his last one, 41.5 in the one before that. Of course, this was the stretch here where he did a little damage to his hamstring, but guys, I think he's healed. I think he is completely fine. He's playing 38 minutes, 36 minutes in his last couple of games. It seems to be that the Fox is on the mend. So I think Fox is back and he's ready to go for you tonight. 34 minutes is his projected amount of playing time tonight. 110.25 is the Sacramento Kings total, as we mentioned before. And combo guards, they do pretty well against the Clippers. Clippers ranking just 22nd against combo guards this season. And Fox puts up 1.12 fantasy points per minute. So it's going to be a close one on De'Aaron Fox. They've really honed in on his projection as well. I mean, I liked him better when he was down at 33. That was an easy overplay for me on De'Aaron Fox. But PrizePicks is doing their thing, man. They're doing their thing, and they're making it hard on us players. So hard. But I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. You guys have been absolutely crushing these likes on the video. I'm going to set it at 12 today. I'm going to push the projection for the likes on the video up to 12 likes. Let's see if we can go over 12 likes. You guys have been crushing 10, so I'm going to make it a little bit harder on you. I'm going to take the over on 12 likes on this video. Appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been CJ for Out of Bounds. Thank you for all the support that you guys are doing for the channel. Please leave a comment below. Let me know who you're feeling tonight, the over, the under, and like, share, do all the things. You know what to do. You guys aren't new at this. Anyway, we'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace out.